Welcome to Beyond Words Presents. I'm your host, Whitney Kwan, and today I am here with Glen Scarpelli and Jerry Gilden, the founders of the amazing new Mind, Body, Spirit festival in Sedona called Sedona World Wisdom Days. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, so nice to see you.
We love being here with you guys.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I'm so excited to talk with you. Glen and Jerry are going to be sharing with us the behind the scenes of starting a new festival. As everybody I'm sure can imagine, it's not an easy undertaking. And so I just have tons of questions for you about how you came up with it, what you did to make it become something so dynamic and actually really successful in its first year, which is it's amazing. So, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows who's watching. You can join the conversation, ask your own questions at the hashtag BWPresents, or you can also use the Google Hangouts app and share your questions there. So, of course, my come up with the idea for this.
Okay, it blocked just a little bit, and I think you asked the question, who or how did we come up with the idea?
How?
How did we come up? I'll let Glen.
Okay, so Sedona World Wisdom Days was a vision that we both had, and it was really just an appropriate time in our lives to take on such a project. I own a local TV station here in Sedona called Sedona Now Television, and it's been beautiful involvement in the community. We have such an enriched community full of spirit, as we say, and it felt like a natural to create an event that really pulled the whole community together. Jerry has been living here 22 years. I've been here 17 years. The TV station's been on the air for 13 years. And with all the resources that we had, Jerry was the vice chair of the Sedona Arts and Culture Commission for many years. So we were very embedded in the community. And we just felt very called by our Creator to pull the community together for such an event. And we really thought also it would fulfill us in a way of service, not only to the community, but to the Creator. And it was a way to give back. We've had many fortunate things in our lives, and we thought maybe creating a platform that both inspired and uplifted the human spirit was a way in which we could give back. So we both came up with the idea, and it was when, lives align. Our energies aligned at the appropriate time. The energy of Sedona was ready for such an event. There have been many, many events, wellness conferences, and so on and so forth here in Sedona, but I don't think any one of them have pulled the community in like Sedona World Wisdom Days has. We have, a signature event at the Sedona Chamber of Commerce. We have all the major hotels as partners. We have all beautiful art galleries such as the Andrea Smith Gallery and the Goldenstein Gallery and Tlaquepaque Arts and Crafts Village. We have so many wonderful sponsors and supporters that it really just felt like a natural, and the pieces did just start to fall into place.
We got a little scared, Whitney, when no one said no to us. And we would go out, we'd ask everyone for sponsorship, to speak, to support us in various ways, and we kept waiting for somebody to say no. And it was almost scary at a certain point. Everyone said yes. Everyone caught the vision. It was a vision about taking a journey. And because it was about a journey, we came up with the notion of having a wisdom passport. And we explained to all our guests it was a journey so unique that it required a passport of its own. And it was a passport to explore our inner wisdom. And in a certain way, it was really a vision and a journey that Glen and I each individually and collectively wanted to take, and we thought it would be just divine to bring the whole community along with us, and then as the words got spread out, the whole country, and then a lot of people came internationally, so it really became a gathering space. Here we live in Native American country, and there's an expression, Ti'igava, in the Hopi language, which means to gather. And Sedona is a place of Ti'igava, a place to gather. So it is a place to explore, to experience, to discover, to activate. The red rocks of Sedona are majestic. Everybody wants to come here anyway. So we decided to give everybody a vacation with a purpose. And that was the goal of creating Sedona World Wisdom Days.
That's phenomenal. It really is. It's a marriage of two very amazing things. It is that journey. I was lucky enough to be in on the beginnings, well, leading up to the actual show itself and all of the organization and things that went into it, and just hearing how you guys speak about the show. It's also just very different than many of the other shows that we've ever participated in, and it just has a different energy around it. And I'm not surprised everybody said yes. I'm really not surprised, and simultaneously, it's what you guys put together in just that 1 year is incredibly impressive. And I'm curious, so for upcoming years, we actually do have a viewer question already, and it's, are you planning on keeping all of the Sedona World Wisdom Days in Sedona? Because it sounds like there's a strong connection, or will you be taking it more internationally?
We have been asked this question. We're at the beginning of our journey, the beginning of the path there. And for now, Sedona is our hometown. It's a place that we'll base it. But we do think that there's an opportunity as we grow and expand that we might likely, take this to other places. But for this year, for the first year, our inaugural year, and for our 2015 Soulful celebration, it will be in Sedona, Arizona. And then who knows what happens after that.
One of the lessons that we've learned in life in general, and also as we develop this conference, is really to live in the moment, to let it take its course, to feel the natural flow of things, to not swim upstream. So the natural flow is, like Jerry just said, it's definitely home-based here, but we're open and welcome all kinds of invites. So we say yes to the universe.
And the universe says yes to you, for sure, it sounds like.
Always. Just last week, we had a couple wonderful people come to visit us in Sedona. We're not going to say who, because we got to keep a few things a little bit under wraps still. And they posed that same question to us: when are you ready to take this vision on the road? And I suspect at some point it will become bigger than Sedona. But for now, we're grateful to be here. We love to share the spirit of Sedona with all our visitors and friends and sponsors and supporters. And we do encourage everybody to come here. Martin Luther King holiday weekend.
Well, and the thing that's interesting to me too, it's not everybody goes immediately to the idea of creating a conference, something that lots of people can come to. You've talked about how you wanted to bring people in and bring people to Sedona, and there's a myriad of different things you could have done. What was it about creating this kind of conference that really lit you up and got you excited?
I want to back up just a little bit and sort of tell you, Glen's background, he comes from the television world. He was an actor on the TV show One Day at a Time, and he's been on Broadway, and he's starred in theatrical releases. My background, I created television game shows and reality shows. I started my career at CBS back in 19... And one of the grand compliments of this festival, and it was by one of your authors, Jean Houston, who, and God love her, she came to every speaker. She was there from sun up to sundown, in addition to giving an incredible keynote presentation. But when she did speak, she referred to it as, affectionately, as the Glen and Jerry Follies, meaning she had never had so much fun at a conference of this nature in her entire career. And one of the things that we do bring, we have a show business flair. We have a beautiful stage. We have the Sedona Performing Arts Center. It's a 750-seat solar-powered theater. Very, very, it's almost Broadway-style theater. We have huge graphics and music and performances in the lobby and performances on stage. And we keep it moving along like a 3-day show. And unlike other conferences or conventions, conferences, things of that nature, where you go to this conference room for this portion of the event and this classroom for that portion, we really did ours as a full-on 3-day presentation, show, grand event. And people got caught up in the moment. They were on their feet, dancing, applauding. We know how to make a show, and we know how to move people. And with the help of so many of our supporters, we brought the speakers here that could move people from the inside out. And it was I think it was a formula that hadn't been done quite like that ever.
And I think that also the idea of doing the show, and we'll lay out for you what the weekend looked like and will look like again this year, It starts off with a conscious film festival, the Sedona World Wisdom Days Film Festival, in which we partner with the Sedona International Film Festival and hold that at the Mary D. Fisher Theater here in town, which is owned by the Sedona Film Festival. And they're wonderful partners. We couldn't ask for better partners in that scenario. And it starts with the film makers doing Q&As and so on and so forth. Friday night, everyone gathers at the Sedona Performing Arts Center, where we have our opening night ceremony and our first keynote speech. And then the rest of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, is at the Sedona Performing Arts Center, where everyone, I think Jerry alluded to this, everyone gets to see all the speakers. You don't have to choose one from the other and so on and so forth. It's on the main stage. It's the main show. We have, of course, the book fair in the lobby, sponsored by Beyond Words, which we're so excited. We'll get a little more into that. And then on Monday is when we have all the breakout workshops. And we're very fortunate that we have Martin Luther King holiday weekend, so Monday, everyone's off from work on Monday. So a lot of folks are able to do this for an extra day than just a normal weekend. So Monday is workshop day. So there's a sense of community that gets built by bringing everybody to the same location, everybody hearing the same speakers and being inspired in their own way, but at the same time.
And by the time we get to Monday, most of the people in the audience have made friends and little groups of friends and other little groups that make groups with other friends. We've even gotten word from places like Los Angeles and Atlanta where people had met at World Wisdom Days and kept like a weekly dialogue going out, or they'll go out and grab a dinner. They've really made long-lasting friends because, you know, as you come to festivals such as this, you really find your soul tribe. It's not just a friend, it's somebody who resonates with your energy and the types of things that you're interested in. And a lot of people, I think in this time, we're all looking for our soul group. So it was a wonderful opportunity for people to connect that way. And when we did have our workshops, they were at some of the most elegant, lovely, 5-star resort spa locations, Enchantment Resort, La Berge de Sedona,
Sedona Rouge, Hotel and Spa.
Unison here.
Yeah. We did the
And so we really, part of our responsibility in putting on an event like this is to make sure that everyone who attends feels as if they're safe, comfortable, all their needs are met, that we put them in a secure place so that they can really open up and be vulnerable and accept the knowledge and wisdom and have the ability to grow and expand. And in our daily hectic lives, sometimes we're so busy being busy that we don't have the time to just take that deep breath, the deep cleansing breath, and find the place of allowance, acceptance, receivership. And that's where all the true expansion of wisdom and knowledge comes from. We can create that space for ourselves. And our festival was all about empowering each participant to grow. So we didn't really see much of a difference between, yes, there were people up on stage and there were people in the audience, but sort of that wall was very porous. It was an open, more of a dialogue than a monologue between our guests and our speakers. And it was sort of this interactive energy. And I'm sure you've experienced when you've gone to events such as this, that often there's a kind of an energy. It's this inexplainable energy, and you just feel almost like uplifted and empowered. And it's, I mean, I wish there were words that I could use to describe it, because if I found those words, probably everybody in your audience would be at the next World Wisdom Days Festival. Something that overcomes us all. And you know, my goal is to live in that special moment all the time. I try, but you know, life has its challenges, and
creating the platform, creating a platform for that safe environment is really the goal.
Well, and it speaks very much to who we are as Beyond Words, and we love the fact that we get to partner with you and create the book fair out in the lobby for you guys. And what it sounds like is that global transformation, like starting on a small scale within that particular group of people at that particular time, but then, as you said, it's like they go out into their lives, they bring it with them, they take it home with them, and it just kind of starts that domino effect. And I love the fact that you guys have set this this festival at the very beginning of the year. Like, I love the fact that you're giving people this space right at the very beginning, right where they can open up things for themselves, so that for the rest of the year they have the knowledge and the connections and the new soul tribe that they've found when they come to Sedona World Wisdom Days.
Well,
And is it,
we do give people the opportunity to actually set their resolutions of what they want to project for the upcoming year, to really set that in place.
And that was incredibly intentional, actually. When Jerry and I first sat down and started really creating and talking about what this can bring to people's lives, we were very much looking at summer solstice as an opportunity. And then we really thought World Wisdom Days needed to be a new beginning of sorts, and a new start, and a place to regenerate and to clean the slate, and to review what we've learned, and then talk about, in an intelligent way, with like-minded people, a way to move forward and actually apply the lessons that we've learned in our lives to our lives. Like, we've all, we've been on this path a long time. We've read books, and we know conceptually, ways in which we can grow.
We have the tools in our toolbox, and on the World Wisdom Days is really the opportunity to take all our tools out and start building and crafting and creating and co-creating
and applying. Big one.
And we did it on probably the most wisdom-infused holiday, which is Martin Luther King holiday weekend. I have a dream. We have a dream that we can live in a conscious community, in a tribe where we uplift each other instead of tear each other down. That's our goal and our dream and our love and our passion. And so taking the idea from paper to purpose was the big hurdle of year one. And in year two, as we expand, and we really, it was so much work to put on this festival. We really took 3 weeks off after the first festival to decide, will there be a year two? One day I woke up.
We really did need to just process it all, because it was so much.
It was very intense, and really it took other people telling us their experiences. They said, well, here, I have to tell you what happened at World Wisdom Days, or I met one of your speakers at a restaurant at the creek before or after the event, and told us all these incredible, life-changing things. And then one day, Glen and I, we took 3 weeks off, and we went to the beach in Laguna Beach with our dog. And one morning I woke up, and I said, oh my gosh. He said, what's the matter? I said, I have it. He said, what's that? I said, well, Spirit gave me the slogan for next year. And he said, well, what is that? I said, well, here we grow again. And that's it. We planted in year one, we planted the seed. Now we are watering the seed with attention, with desire, with appreciation, with all the ingredients that it takes to get something to create a beautiful blossom, a beautiful fragrance, and it's a privilege to be in a position to be able to present something like this, not only to an audience at large. I think you're involved with us for next year, and we're going to be live streaming the event. So next year we're taking the event to the world. How quickly we grow. Our garden is growing very, very quickly. We're blessed about that.
That's so phenomenal. I love your message and your journey, and I love that slogan. Here we grow again. That's fantastic. And I just, there's really an intention around what you guys are doing. There's so many shows that I know I've talked about a little bit, but there's so many shows. It's almost like we do this, because we do this every year. We just do this every year, so that's just kind of how it goes. And really, your intentionality about it, and really what you want people to take home with them, it's really inspiring, and I really hope I get to go this year. I didn't get to go this last year, but I'm hoping.
Definitely want you to come.
Yes, you have to come. Actually, I have to stop this conversation and do a big shout out for Beyond Words, because I want to share a little bit of the physical points that helped really make this festival happen. So we have these wonderful friends here in Sedona, Andrea and Gary Smith, who own the Andrea Smith Gallery. and they carry Beyond Words books. So we've often bought many books from Gary and Andrea, and we see their Beyond Words display and so on and so forth. Well, we were going to one of their what we call First Friday parties. They have the first Friday of every month. The galleries here in Sedona throw a party. And we went there, and the author of
that book signing,
the book signing, Journey of Love.
Beautiful book. Beautiful.
Beautiful book.
Just the front cover of the book is inspiring in and of itself. You don't even have to open the book to enjoy it. You just have to look at it.
So we walk in, and we just made a direct connect with Richard Cohn. Mm-hmm. And then, he was busy. He was signing books. It was pretty hectic in the gallery that night. So then we wound up kind of moving off to the side where we met Michelle. And we just totally connected, so much so that they were like, I think we're going to stay another day and we're all just going to have dinner together. So we're like, cool. So, Beyond Words, our relationship with Gary and Andrea Smith, we have other key people, our Linda Goldenstein from Goldenstein Gallery, a few key people here that really helped build the foundation and the infrastructure of why we were able to pull this off. And Richard and Michelle played such a solid role because when we shared our vision with them, they totally got it. And I think we were of like mind in how Beyond Words is also run, with a sense of authenticity, with a sense of sincerity behind the messages, behind the intention for doing it, for being in this kind of work. And there was just this wonderful, wonderful connect. And we said, so here's what we're thinking, and we're going to do speakers, and da-da-da. And Richard and Michelle called us and said, how about we approach Jean Houston? And we were like, okay, that's cool.
Everybody loves Jean.
I mean, she's on the whiteboard, so, that'd be awesome. So, and we've been such huge Jean Houston fans, for so many years. So Jean got booked, and through you guys, and that really became the beginning of the taking Sedona World Wisdom Days seriously as a festival, a gathering place, a soulful celebration. It was really it was that kind of credibility that we needed, and Beyond Words brought that.
And once that happened, everybody started calling. The phone was ringing off the hook, and pitched every speaker. The most amazing things happened after that. But Jean was, I call it the Jean Houston jump. If you've ever seen her in person, and she takes you through the story of the Wizard of Us, the Jean Houston jump, where it's
everybody jumps.
Get off your rear end and you start moving some energy.
And she was our jump. She was our jump.
Incredible.
And I must share one more part of the puzzle. The next phase of the puzzle was, Jerry was mentioning, I was an actor when I was a kid. I was on a sitcom called One Day at a Time. Mackenzie Phillips was the next big name that we brought to the bill after Jean. And Mackenzie has been a dear friend for so long, and her story is just so inspiring and uplifting. I've known Mac for like 35 years, and we all know the story of Mackenzie Phillips. It's certainly not something that's under wraps. Her life has been incredibly public, and she's come such a long way. I'm so proud of my friend Mackenzie. And, there was a time that I never thought, 30 years later, that she would even be alive. There was a very good chance that she would hit that bump in the road and fall. Yeah. But what she did was she rose above that. She became a hero for so many. She became a voice for sobriety and recovery and sexual abuse, to the point where people didn't feel alone, because if Mackenzie Phillips could do it, so could I. And she became such an inspiration, and that was one of the things we really wanted to do with World Wisdom Days, is tell these stories of
you hit your roadblock.
Yeah, overcoming.
You hit your bumpy place in the road. When the road gets a little weavy or crooked, how do you overcome those obstacles? And then, more important than that, how do you blaze your own path from that place forward? Because that's the magical place when we find purpose in our lives, when our life transforms. So we had a great opportunity. It came out of a little bit of sadness, a lot of sadness. One of Glen's mother, that played his mother on television, Bonnie Franklin, and he had a long, beautiful relationship with her. And she had a lovely beach home. and she always sent Glen to her beach home
She
for his
played
birthday.
Ann Romano on the show for all
And he
those
played Alex.
One Day at a Time fans out.
So when she passed away, shortly after that, the family still asked Glen to if he wanted to still celebrate his birthday at the beach home, and he said yes. Then we get a call from Mackenzie, and she wanted to come out. And what began as a one-day slumber party turned into a 4-day processing, loving. I don't think we ever got out of our pajamas in 4 days. We were sort of in this fishbowl on the beach with people walking by, seeing us all. This beautiful home, steps on the ocean, and we were really talking about the incredible place that she was a survivor, and that what would she do with this magical moment of her breaking through. And we wanted her to tell that story at World Wisdom Days. And that moment, that kind of crooked road breaking through moment, really is what sets World Wisdom Days apart from other festivals, in that we look for these incredible stories. We have some people coming up for...
I also want to say one more shout out about last year, which was also we had Don Miguel Ruiz, who was just such an inspiration, writing the 4 Agreements, just an amazing story. Mary Fisher, who is a hero of mine, she was the first person to come out publicly in regards to being HIV positive. She made that speech at the Republican National Convention in 1992 and has literally been the reason lives have been saved. Because of her authentic truth being spoken, money went towards research to HIV/AIDS. That's a near and dear subject to my heart, and I was so grateful to have Mary Fisher as part of our team. We had so many.
Just on that note, you might have seen on the Today Show last week, Mary Fisher was in the plaza promoting her 100 Good Deeds, which is a lovely bracelet that's made with women in several countries throughout Africa. And the notion of it is there's 100 beads, and every time you do a silent good deed, you move the flange one bead along. And the goal is to go through the entire, in a year, do 100 good deeds. And they don't count if you tell someone you did it.
Oh, I love that.
So she's creating this entire silent movement of paying it forward and good deeds and happiness, and the caliber of people that were attracted to World Wisdom Days was phenomenal. And our first year was like unbelievable. I mean,
yes. When I first saw your list for who was coming, I was like, "This show, seriously? This is the first year? Are you kidding me?"
This is the first year.
And then Jerry Jampolsky and Diane Cirincione, who I know.
Absolutely.
Also, you can get some of their books right here, right now, today at a World Wisdom Day.
Exactly. Yes.
We were
Thank
talking
you for that, Glenn. Well, really quick, before we go on to more stories, I just want to share with everybody, we do have an awesome bundle here ready for you guys. It's really kind of a tribute to Sedona World Wisdom Days Part 1, or first year. We have an audio from Jean Houston. It's a beautiful audio that we put together. It's all about how to get in touch with yourself, just like what Glenn and Jerry were talking about, how to get the Jean Houston jump. And then also we have What the Bleep. The world knows about What the Bleep. It's a huge movement. It absolutely blew my mind the first time I watched it. It's fascinating. And we also have Forgiveness by Jerry Jampolsky, as well as let me check, Finding Joe, which is a wonderful DVD. We did have Pat Solomon on here before, so you guys know a little bit about that. And then of course, the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So it's a great package. All of those things together, $49.95. It's a 50% off discount for, excuse me, not 50. It's 44% off discount for just today. Well, not just for today, but for this show. And you can get it at www.beyondword.com/Sedona. Be sure to jump on and grab it as soon as you can. It's a great bundle, and you'll get to see a little bit of the world that Jerry and Glenn started to create in this first year, and then I'd love to continue to hear more about what's coming this next year, because I know you guys have some exciting things in the hopper.
Yeah, I have to tell you, we were just talking about Jerry Jampolsky and Diane Cirincione last night at dinner. We had friends over, and we had a nice little dinner party, and one of the things that that they say that is so important is you really can't move on with the rest of your life until you find forgiveness for your mother and your father. That's where it begins. And that's really, if you're going to synthesize their entire message down to one thing. That's it. But if you get that one thing, you've really made some progress in life.
Because they said until you find peace with your mother or father, everyone you create in your life will be your mother or your father. So I mean, it's pretty big, it's a pretty big message, and it really resonated to so many folks in the audience. You know, they were
moved,
very moved. That particular line in particular, I think, really touched a lot of people because it's such a chord in all of us, and that's one of the things that we also find within the speakers that we book and the people that we invite, is to share the wisdom of how we're all alike. You know, even Mackenzie Phillips' message, you don't have to be a heroin addict to get where she's coming from, because we all have a void of pain to fill in our lives. We all have to heal something from our past. We all have to find a way to accept and to find peace in our lives so that we can live in the moment, so that we're not looking over our shoulder in the rearview mirror. That does none of us well. So a lot of the themes of our speakers really are ways in which we bring people together. You know, and the festival so encourages, let's find the common denominators between us. You know, let's find the ways in which we realize we're all from the same source, we're all from the same creator, we're all loved equally, and we all can love equally. How do we learn how to do that? We've not been taught that. That's not what society teaches us. You know, it's not what parents or generations.
It's changing.
Yeah, but we can
and
have
we're making it change.
We can have that conversation together and grow together, and you know, that's really, really a beautiful intention for why we gather.
So I want to take you back last year to the fall equinox last year, and really, you asked how we went about doing it. We really have a very unusual process. So we built our festival on 4 pillars of awareness, and they're creativity, culture, education, and wellness. And because creativity is an important aspect, we went to one of our sponsors, the Golden Gallery, and they commissioned this absolutely beautiful wisdom bell. And the wisdom bell had crystals coming off the top and links on a chain to show us how we're linked together in life. And most importantly, it had this beautiful vessel at the bottom to put your prayer, affirmation, or intention about how you want to expand your inner wisdom. Then we brought in one of our dear friends, the medicine man from the Havasupai tribe in the Grand Canyon. And he's the real deal. He is, he walks his talk. Ukwala. And he came up from the Grand Canyon and came to a Stargate medicine wheel that's built on a piece of land that I own in Sedona, and performed this absolute gorgeous, intentional ceremony. So from the time of the fall equinox, we began holding the intention for all those who were to follow, who were to come, who were to join us. And we asked all our speakers, all the famous authors and forward thinkers, before they came to Sedona and when they arrived in Sedona, to infuse that bell with their prayer, affirmation, and intention. Because we were really going to change the notion of for whom the bell tolls. The bell tolls for those people who are part of our tribe, the tribe of change. And when we ring that bell, that sound goes out, goes into our hearts and out to the community at large. It goes beyond the borders of our tribal nations, beyond Arizona, beyond the shores of our continent, into the other continents, into the sea, and into the universe. And that energy and those prayers and those thoughts, intentions, affirmations really are infused into the world at large. And we believe wholeheartedly these things are real. You know, when we do this, this is very real. This is not, we're not playing a game, or we brought in the best of the best to help us create the ceremony, and we did.
And that sound is actually
gorgeous.
It's a vibration.
It's a vibration.
And that vibration is what resonates. Because really, when we come down to it, you know, it's all energy. We are energy. The universe is energy, and it's about creating a higher vibrating energy to be in line with our planet. Our planet is resonating quicker. Our vibration of our planet is rising. So either we are in line with that, or we're not.
Yeah.
So our goal is to be conscious of how to be in line with that, and to have the right people come together and have that kind of important conscious conversation.
Have you guys ever heard of Penny Pierce?
Well, sure.
We love Penny. Penny stayed at my house recently.
Oh
Yeah, she was driving through Sedona and she hung out with us, and we love Penny.
Because she says she's talking about exactly that same kind of thing. It's the frequent. Her most well-known book is Frequency, and it's exactly talking about that the frequency of the world is changing, and how can we change our frequency to align with that, and what that will make available for us. So I was curious.
I recommend that book to anyone who's watching. We know her personally, and it's a wonderful book.
And we also love and support and have a wonderful sister relationship with the Sun Valley Wellness Conference in Sun Valley, Idaho. And we're going to be going again this year, which we're so excited about. And we met Penny there last year and went to her workshop, and it was beautiful. We're big fans.
Awesome. Yeah, and the Sun Valley Wellness Festival is in May, so it's almost like you can go to the Sedona World Wisdom Days and set your intention for the year, and then kind of get maybe a little bit of a tune-up or something at the Sun Valley Wellness Festival 5 months later, something like that. But
that is a beautiful festival.
Love that concept. Yeah. Definitely. That's the kind of relation. In fact, we've had discussions with the board of directors in regards to that, how our festival does start off the year, and they're like, in May, which is usually Memorial Day weekend, is their festival. And you'll go for a good tune-up, because that's how we feel. We're ready for our Sun Valley, Idaho tune-up.
That's wonderful. We do have another viewer question. When you first conceived the idea of this festival, what was your vision of success, and has that changed since you've done your first festival?
That's such an that's a brilliant question.
It's a really good question.
Because we grapple with this, because when we first began this journey, we decided that success would not be financial. Success would not even be attendance. Success would be measured by how much and how far we moved people. And if we could do it with just one person, we would be successful. And as I said earlier in the show, our decision to do a second year wasn't based on money. It wasn't based on attendance, although we were happy with all those who came and
all those results
and all the results. But the key was how it transformed people's lives. And when those stories started coming back to us, we were brought to tears on occasion. It was it was our intention to do it, but at the same time we really didn't know.
We didn't know if we were really doing it, to tell you the truth. And when you're throwing a festival, you're kind of busy, and we have people being picked up in cars, and did the bus get there in time, and did this flight land? And there's so much of that going on. And plus, Jerry and I are, emceeing, and we're on stage, and we're dealing with, did the food get backstage? So there's such an overall view and so many moving parts to the actual festival that's why we took 3 weeks. We said 21 days. We're going to do 21 days. And I was very strict about saying, if we do this again. I was like, not when, if. Because I needed the energetic space to digest things. And the word if just felt better because it gave an energetic space of a cleansing, like that one's done. And there's this void in between having to actually start the next one.
Yes.
It was really, really important to say the word if. And during that space is when we started to hear the stories and get the emails and see people's pictures. And people were posting things online, like videos they shot in the lobby, and like drum circles that happened that we weren't even aware of. And so many cool things. Filmmakers met each other and started to do projects together.
Book deals were made.
People connected in ways that
enriched their lives.
That really did, because like we weren't there, but they were like meet at the hotel, and somebody would talk to somebody, and that person needed to hear that statement right then and there, We heard from people in our own community here in Sedona, which, most of the folks that attended our festival, I would say, was about 50-50. Most came from out of state. But the ones that were here, we heard from a few that said they were thinking of leaving the community. They were thinking of moving. They weren't sure what was next for them. And they really found their tribe once again and found a community here in Sedona. Those are the things that honestly really touched our heart. And that was why we are so committed and engaged to do it again.
And I want to jump in, because Glenn used the word if. If really is, in my mind, the smallest word in the dictionary with the greatest number of possibilities. It really expands infinite possibilities. And so in that space of using the word if, we were able to see all the possible outcomes if we did it, if we didn't do it, if we did it bigger, if we did it online, if we did it as a live streaming. It sort of opened up not only whether or not to, but even
how to, right?
What is the if journey? What is the infinite possibility journey? And it gave us a lot of clarity in how to move forward. So sometimes, we use these magical words and they give us a different perspective of how we can move forward. So I thought it was a good idea to use the word if.
Yay!
Well, and I love the space that it offers as well for not necessarily having to do the exact same thing next year, like not necessarily having the film festival on Friday and the speakers the way that you did it. It's like, if we did it differently, what would that look like?
Oh, there's going to be some fun new changes coming up.
Oh, really? Oh my goodness.
Well, everything is, like we said, I think these conferences or any kind of project that we might take on in our lives have a life of its own. And one of the jobs as founders and as organizers is we have to listen. We have to listen. And when you're dealing with something specifically as important, if you will, or sacred as an event like this, the universe plays a big role in designing it. We're just tools to make that happen. We're soldiers, if you will, of the path. And within that framework, if is really important because we're committed to the energy of doing it, but how that is actually manifested, we couldn't possibly dream of it being as good as it was the first year. So we didn't do that. We couldn't have. So many pieces just came together, like our relationship with you guys. That was a divine process.
As we come from an artist community here in Sedona, we're a city animated by arts and culture. So I want to use another example. If you've ever been a potter, if you've ever worked at a potter's wheel, that you grab that clay and you think you're molding the clay, and then the clay teaches you that it's molding, and you're just you're going along for the ride. So we're at the potter's wheel with this wonderful festival. The clay is coming up and it's designing itself into this incredible vessel, and the vessel and the design and the texture is still yet to be known. But we know that we're guided and we're creative. We never want to do the same thing precisely in the same way 2 times in a row. We have too much creativity for that. So there'll be some things that we did before. There'll be some new things. Some people said, "Are you bringing back all the same speakers?" And we said, "We're bringing back all new speakers." A couple were so special we had to bring them back again. But for the most part, we're bringing all new speakers. So that's our creative vision. That's part of our path, creating the event.
That's wonderful. Well, I just want to remind people one more time, we do have an amazing bundle, the tribute to the first year of the Sedona World Wisdom Days, all together here for you today. The Gene Houston audio, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, Forgiveness by Jerry John Polsky, and Finding Joe, as well as, we have one more thing, and I'm forgetting it, What the Bleep. What the Bleep, such a great DVD.
Right, and may I just bump in here, but the reason you have What the Bleep is because Betsy Chassie was at our film festival. She's of course the director and co-director and co-producer of What the Bleep Do We Know, one of our favorite films, who we also had on our conscious film panel, and that's why you have that, because of Betsy Chassie. We love you, Betsy.
Yeah, and Also to
All
applaud.
of those things together, all 5 of those things together, $44.95, 44% off, and you can get them at beyondword.com/Sedona. So be sure to get that really soon. And I'm curious, is there one story, like your favorite story from what happened in the first year that just really either inspired you or cracked you up or moved you to tears?
Well, I'll tell you one funny story.
Okay.
We had a wonderful
I don't know where he's going with this.
soulful practitioner. Her name is Louisa Tesh. And Louisa came in her full African regalia, and she was scheduled to go on and drum and get people to dance. And we had met Louisa at Ions. The moment we met her, I saw her across the room and said, "Hey, soul sister, come over here and come over to table 13 and join us for lunch." And she did, and we booked her to the event.
We love her.
And she's the most incredible facilitator, movement facilitator, motivator. Just she's got the mojo. She's got it going on. So she comes to Sedona, and it's time for her to go on stage. And the stage manager's saying she doesn't want to come out of the bathroom. I said, "What do you mean?" So we had a video about Martin Luther King. Glen rolls the video. I go backstage to have a chat with Louisa. What's the matter? And she goes, "I don't know how the energy in Sedona is so intense. Oh my God, I feel like I'm in a microwave. My computer crashed, and this is, I don't know." And I said, "Well, dear, we didn't bring you here to read off a teleprompter or to do stage notes off your computer. We brought you here to do what you do wherever you go, whether it's on stage or off stage. We brought you here to sing and to drum and to be your true authentic self." So I'm telling her the story while I have my arm around her, walking her through the back door of the stage, through the dark, and we get right up to the side of the stage. She's like, you go out there and just be yourself, and giving her all this wonderful advice. I gave her this great big hug. I also was the announcer, so I grabbed the microphone as I'm hugging her and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, my soul sister, Louisa Tesh." And I said, "Now you go out there," and I pushed her right on stage. I'm like, oh my God. And she was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Had hundreds of people in the audience up dancing and boogieing, and we threw 3 trees, another percussionist on stage, and it was one of those magical moments. But you never know what's going to happen. It's a live show. We go on for 3 days. You never know what's going to happen. And then there were the equal moments of just magical, sincere moments. I'm going to tell the story without saying names because I don't want anyone to feel that their personal story may be invaded. We had someone who came to the festival, and during the course of the festival, her nephew passed away. And she was down at Le Berge at the creek, a beautiful place of meditation, and really processing this out. And she ran into Dr. Marge Britt, who's one of the minister emeritus at the Unity of Tustin, who was also speaking. And they just found that kind of moment where their lives, intersected, and each had a gentle moment to share with the other. And what became this sort of moment of contemplation and sadness turned into this moment of hugging and healing, and all the right people were at the right place at the right time. And as you know, spirit moved for everybody and magic happened. And when those stories were passed back along to us, how can we not do another year? How can we not do it bigger and better? How can we not bring more people to Sedona? That's the question.
And I think that goes back to your question of what is the measure of success?
Yeah.
A story like that, those are the moments.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what are you guys super excited about for this upcoming year? I know it's very early in the planning stages, but I know you've already got some things planned.
We do have some things planned. We have some things planned that we cannot talk about yet because we are just in the process of making all of that happen. Our ticket sales should be going on sale for the 2015 event probably mid-June. We will have a lot accomplished at that point, but we would like to announce. Can we announce some things?
Sure, a couple.
Yeah, we'll announce a couple. So we'd like to announce that one of our main speakers this year will be the wonderful and talented Ariel Ford, which we're so excited that Ariel Ford is going to come, known as the
Feelization.
Feelization, and
don't just visualize it. feel it.
The fairy godmother of love, I think, and love and relationships, is what they call her.
Yeah.
We're so excited to have Ariel. That deal has been done. That has been committed, so we're very excited to have her. And
well, there was a moment we came to see you up in Portland, and we went to a book signing of David Howlett for Heed Your Call. Now, is his book out now with you?
It is. It came out last February.
When I went to the book signing, I asked one question, and I really asked David, what was the moment in your life that you hit that roadblock, that you sort of hit the crooked place in your path, and you overcame your own obstacle? And I don't want to give it away, but he gave me the best answer I had ever heard in that category. And one moment after that, I went and got his book to get his book signed, and we mentioned the festival in Sedona. And what did he write inside the book? Do you remember?
He said, "Oh gosh, it says to Glen and Jerry, yes, Sedona, let's make it happen," or
yes,
something like that. Yes to Sedona, or something like that.
And just this morning, we heard from the owners of Beyond Words that David had reached out and asked to be a part of the festival, and we're making it happen.
So we're very happy that David Howard's
he'll be here and talking about leading your authentic life, and he really has some beautiful messages about the whole notion of the word A and D. It's not this or that, it's this and this. And I'll just have my own personal interpretation of that. I always say "and" is just the word DNA spelled backwards. So it's all the things that combine us and make us grow and expand. So
living in abundance.
And living in abundance.
We love his book. We love his book, and we love his message.
So we're happy to have him come to Sedona. We are speaking to Charlie Lustman. You know Charlie? Yeah, Charlie. Another story another story of overcoming obstacles. Last year we did a segment with Jerry Jewell, who has cerebral palsy, and she was on a TV show called The Facts of Life. And we always do a segment where we teach people how to overcome the limitations of their own body. My belief is that this is just our space suit. We come to the planet, we put it on, make a few adjustments while we're here, but it really isn't who we are. We're on the inside, and we're sort of growing outward. So whenever we can have someone who's truly had a difficulty in their life and they've overcome it, with Charlie it was a cancer in the jaw.
A very rare cancer in the jaw.
And had to create this entire prosthetic to go inside the mouth. And the result is he's an incredible singer.
And an inspiration. It's kind of like when we talk to Charlie Lustman or to a Jerry Jewell, we think about all the things we complain about in our lives in that moment, and how these are the real stories. This is what we talk about how we apply our lessons to our lives. When we hear this or hear these stories, I look at my own life and go, gosh, I really sweat the small stuff sometimes. Because in our day-to-day lives, when we're sitting at our desks and we have our to-do lists and the clock is ticking and we haven't hit all our deadlines, that seems so important at the moment, but it's so not. It's so, we have to really look at the bigger picture and look at all the beautiful things we have in our lives. And Charlie is such an inspiration for us for that. We really want to share his story. We really want to share his exuberance towards life, his zest for life, his courage in life. Yes. He's so courageous and happy and sings and brings so much light and joy to people and has been through so much. So very happy to have Charlie at our festival.
I can tell. I'm very excited. He is wonderful.
And lots more. We have some really superstar big names, but
we'll be making announcements really soon. We're going to come back on your show and talk about this again.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll hold you to that, because we definitely want to have you guys back on as soon as we get closer to the show or to the actual festival. We will have Glen and Jerry back on, and they will give us more details, which I'm very excited to hear about, and also just talk about what they're seeing as the show comes together and what they're creating. And I'm really excited, because you can set your intention, and then all of a sudden things start to happen and things shift and move, and it sounds like you guys are really creating the space for that, which is so exciting. But we are coming up on the hour, and I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for being on the show with me today. It's just been a pleasure to talk with you and to get to know who you are and why you're doing this, and just thank you for who you are in the space that you're creating for people, because it is the most generous thing that I've ever heard. And so thank you so much.
We love you, Whitney. Thanks for having us on the show. And we just want to tell all your viewers, if you're inclined to feel moved by anything we said, block the dates, take a vacation with a purpose to beautiful Sedona, Arizona. It'll transform your life. It's January 16th through the 19th, 2015. So just mark it on your calendar. Tickets aren't available till mid-June. And come join us for Martin Luther King holiday weekend. Start your year off with some inner exploration and meet some incredible forward thinkers and speakers and authors and filmmakers and fellow participants. And one thing we should tell you, in Sedona, Sedona, we say we teach the teachers. So this is really coming from an absolute beautiful place. You're going to meet some incredible people when you come to Sedona, and you'll really be transformed.
And I want to throw one last thing in, which is congratulations on your wedding.
Yay!
Thank you.
And honeymoon.
And I must have missed the invitation in the mail, because I don't remember getting mine, but I'm going to meet you out there on your honeymoon.
Okay, yes, you should come out to Barcelona and visit. It'll be really awesome.
Done deal.
Barcelona. We see you in Barcelona.
Done deal. Done deal.
You're gonna love it.
Well, again, thank you so much. And so everybody knows, be sure to go to beyondword.com/Sedona to get the package of 5 different wonderful products that are all bits and pieces of the authors and the filmmakers who were at Sedona World Wisdom Days this last year. And then be on the lookout. We will announce it on beyondwords.com and let you guys know when we have everything available for Sedona World Wisdom Days, and we'll keep you up to date on our Facebook page. And also, if you have any other questions or anything for Glen and Jerry, use the hashtag BWPresents, and we will get those to them, and they can get those questions answered for you. And this same time next week, we will have Tobin Hart. He is a PhD, and he will be coming on to talk about, he did an exploration, almost an anthropological exploration into lots of different areas, and pulled little bits and pieces and discovered that at the essence of who we are, there are 4 essential virtues: presence, wisdom, creation, and I'm going to forget the 4th one, and heart. Maybe that's the one that I'm low on. But he has a spiritual assessment matrix that you can take, and it teaches you which one of those you're low in, and he will teach us how to balance out, and what an amazing life we can live from there. So we will see you this time next week. Thank you so much for being here and for looking for us for next week.